And I think you all know Lou. You know him here as somebody who's very straightforward, very direct with his constituents. That's his reputation. That's the way he's been able to serve his community for so many years. But if you think he's straight and straightforward and direct in his community, you should see this guy in caucus. He's one of the strongest voices there, no question. I don't think a caucus meeting goes by where Lou isn't up on his feet talking about something going on in his community here. So, Lou, I want to thank you for your great work, and on behalf of your community, because this is a job sometimes, as all my public representative colleagues here today know, sometimes does go unthanked. But Lou, I want to thank you for the great job you're doing to bring the voice of this community to Queen's Park. And Mayor Thompson, I want to thank you as well for your strong leadership here in this community in Port Hope. Beautiful place to be. And I told you my wife, I think, would love to live here because she grew up in Orono, not too far, and often talks about moving out of the city because that's where her heart really is. But I'm a representative from Scarborough, so it's not going to happen anytime soon. But if I ever do retire, you never know. I might come knocking at your door to see if there's a good place for us to settle here. But I want to thank you and Lou and all the other representatives particularly involved. It had been a tough couple of months when somebody from away came here and started sort of trashing this community a little bit in an uninformed way. And I want to thank you. It did not go unnoticed at Queen's Park, the way yourself, Madam Mayor, and Lou and your councillors stood up for this community. Really does show that you better not be messing with this community, especially if you come here uninformed, that you're going to stand up for yourselves, you're going to stand up for this community, and I think that speaks very well of the leadership from both of you, so thank you again for doing that. I've had the opportunity of traveling across this province over the last month or so, talking a lot about our long-term energy plan, talking about our efforts to build a clean energy economy, and talking about how those efforts are creating jobs in communities right across Ontario. We're very proud of our long-term energy plan. That's a plan that stakes out our energy vision for the next 20 years. Something that's very, very important to us as a government, something important to the people of this province. And it ensures that we'll be able to pass on to future generations a clean, modern, and reliable energy system. I think that's a responsibility that we have, not only as a government, but as a generation. And when you look at what we inherited 7 years ago, it wasn't looking like that 7 years ago, I can tell you that. We had a lot of work to do over the last 7 years to be able to move our energy system into the direction that it had to go in. And one of the results of that, one of the nice results of that, as we're moving forward into the renewable energy industry, is we've been able to make Ontario a global clean energy powerhouse, creating jobs across this province. And just as an example, last month, in 5 days alone, I had the privilege on behalf of the government of announcing 1,800 jobs being created. Jobs are being created almost every day across this province in this clean energy economy. And that's something that's benefiting communities from Windsor to Sault Ste. Marie to Port Hope, right across Ontario. The other good news in the long-term energy plan is it's getting us off of coal. By 2014, we'll be one of the first jurisdictions in the world to be able to have done that. This is the single largest climate change initiative in North America, something that each and every family in Ontario should feel very, very proud of. And I know people in this community are very interested in the nuclear file. And I can assure you in our long-term energy plan, there remains a very, very important component for nuclear within that plan. We will be moving forward with the renewal and rehabilitation of our nuclear fleet right in Darlington and in Bruce and right across this province. And we will be moving forward with the purchase of 2 new units as soon as we possibly can. We know it's an important part of our growth plan for nuclear. Nuclear will remain the backbone of our energy system, which is important to communities like this because we really do care about those 70,000 workers here in Port Hope and right across Ontario and in Canada that get their livings, make their livings in the nuclear industry. And it may well be that our federal government isn't quite as supportive of those 70,000 workers as we are, but I can tell you this government will continue to stand up for the nuclear industry in this province and in this country. We see a bright future for nuclear. We see some great opportunities for our domestic nuclear industry abroad, and we will continue to promote those opportunities, both as an important source, as the backbone of our own energy system, but also as an economic opportunity for Ontario that simply cannot be ignored. So we'll continue to be in the corner of those workers and communities like this that are very much, that see the nuclear industry as a very important part of their economy. I want to talk as well, as we're investing in our nuclear industry and building a strong energy system, I want to talk a little bit about what we're facing at Queen's Park in terms of the opposition. Because it is an election year, and when you invite a politician into your community in an election year, this is something that I think people, Ontario families, are going to have to be able to make some choices. I think what we're seeing from the opposition, frankly, is a lot of shiftiness when it comes to energy policy. The opposition leaders, in particular Tim Hudak, refuse to talk about their plans, or refuse to put forward any plans of their own when it comes to energy. Frankly, I believe they're trying to hoodwink Ontario families into believing that you can build a clean, reliable, and modern energy system for free. I think Ontario families will see right through that. I think Ontario families know that you need to invest in our energy system if you're going to deliver that clean, reliable, and modern system that we can be proud to pass on to our kids and grandkids. You know, during the consultations on the long-term energy plan, we talked to Ontario families, and I talked to my colleagues like Lou. This is what Lou told me that his constituents were telling him. He told me that his constituents understand, and I think all Ontario families understand the need to move out of coal. We have a responsibility to create cleaner air for ourselves and our kids, and this will help us build a cleaner, healthier future for ourselves and our children. So that's important. Ontario families understand that. They understand the need to build a modern energy system because we want to have an energy system we can be proud to pass on to future generations. But that's also really, really important to our competitiveness as a province. They understand the need for reliable energy. That's something we didn't have 7 years ago, but we've made the investments necessary to make that possible today. But we have to keep investing in our energy infrastructure to ensure that we have a reliable system. Ontario families, I believe, understand that. They also enjoy and understand and support the thousands of clean energy jobs that are being created across this province at a time when we really need them most. But this is also what Lou has told me that his constituents are saying. That while they support the direction we're going in energy, times are a little bit tough. We've just been through a global recession that has impacted the budgets of families. Families are feeling that their budgets are strained at this time. So the rising costs of energy and electricity are a concern to Ontario families. And that's why we've moved forward with the clean energy benefit. We'll be taking 10% off every bill for Ontario families, small businesses, and farms for the next 5 years to help them through this period of transition. We need to make these investments. Ontario families, I believe, know we need to make these investments, but we also know that we need to help Ontario families get through this period of investment over the next 5 years. And we're delighted to be able to move forward with this clean energy benefit starting January 1st, so a couple of weeks ago. Constituents in this community should be seeing it on their next energy bill. 10% off every bill for the next 5 years. That's about $150 savings on average for families. It's also about $2,000 a year in savings for farms and about $1,700 a year for savings for small businesses. So that's a significant way of trying to help Ontario families, farmers, and small businesses adjust to those rising energy rates. And that's in addition to the energy and property tax credit that provides around $900 for low-income families and less for middle-income families, and up to $1,000 for seniors. 2/3 of seniors across this province will receive some benefit from the energy and property tax credit. Our energy plan is turning a vision, what started out as a vision, into reality. We're driving this economic recovery. Together, we're building a clean, modern, reliable energy system in a way that Ontario families can afford as we build a strong, competitive, and prosperous province. I want to thank all of you for being here today. I look forward to continued conversations with you as we move forward in building that brighter future for ourselves, our province, and our kids and our grandkids. Thank you very, very much.